welcome back to another Recreate This Look. This week we are paying homage to the multi-talented, internationally recognized, Oscar-winning actress Sophia Loren. This particular look comes from a movie called More Than a Miracle from the year 1967. So let's just jump right in. We're gonna try soap brows first. I really don't know how to do them, but we're gonna go ahead and try. Plain old Zest. Not the green kind, but like the cream color kind. I had gotten a suggestion a long time ago to try to do a Sophia Loren look. It took me a while to find one that I thought I could possibly do. Scrolling through Pinterest, I came across the one that you saw in the beginning and I thought, okay, I could possibly do that one. I tried to find some like background on the movie. There's not much. Like the Wikipedia is pretty sparse. There's not much detail about the movie, like how much it cost or how much it made. IMDb wants me to pay for that information, which I'm not gonna do. However, I will tell you, I went ahead and spent money on renting the movie so I could actually see it for myself. It's set in like the 17th century, but it's 17th century by way of the 60s. So just like Cleopatra, it's very much through the 60s lens. I think I'm gonna leave my brows as they are. I don't think I can get them any soapier than that. I can't believe it actually worked. Just to kind of get into the movie a little bit, Sophia Loren plays a character named Isabella, and she is a peasant girl who gets sort of mixed up with the prince in some accidental sort of way, right? She's minding her own business. I'm gonna be real about this movie. It's not great. It's very confusing. The story, half of the story doesn't make any sense. The other half is kind of messed up. I think it's just me. It has to be just me because a lot of people apparently love this movie. So it has to be me that I'm just not understanding something. But regardless, they meet accidentally. She has his horse that he lost somehow. I am doing my primer and foundation and everything else on camera this time because I got some new stuff from BoxyCharm that I want to try out. This is the first time I'm trying any of it out and I wanted to do it on camera. So this is from my most recent BoxyCharm. It is Touch in Soul. This is the Icy Sherbet primer. We're gonna see how the It Cosmetics CC cream performs on top of it. I didn't know that much about Sophia Loren just on my own. I just know that she's a famous actress, but I didn't really know like anything about her childhood or anything like that. So apparently her dad wanted to be around show business, or at least be around show business people. He ended up meeting her mother that way. He ended up in a relationship with her mother and then he left them. And Sophia and her mother ended up living in severe, extreme poverty. All these famous stories about how Sophia Loren was ugly as a child, sickly as a child, how people made fun of her for being ugly and skinny and scrawny as a child. And then when she hit puberty, all of a sudden, everybody thinks she's the most gorgeous thing that is walking the earth, right? And at 15, her mother decides to take her to Rome so that they can try to get her some acting work. And she ends up in this very, very famous movie called Quo Vadis. And she also ends up doing some modeling work. And that was all in Italy, in Italian cinema. Her first Hollywood film was in 1957, and it was called The Pride and the Passion, and it co-starred Cary Grant and Frank Sinatra. Continued to work. From what I'm reading, she just continued to make films. She ended up having a family, filming movies, raising her kids. She was just working as hard as she could and raising a family at the same time. In this movie, she is very much, you know, talking back to the prince and arguing with him, and it's very, you know, tempestuous, and they're arguing and then they love each other and then they're hitting each other. Half the time they're fighting, half the time they're like, you know, obviously falling in love with each other. But it's funny because most of the time during the movie they're angry at each other and they've lost each other and now they're gonna find each other, and then when they find each other they're angry with each other and no, I don't trust you anymore, and no, you lied to me, oh, you cursed me, and like all this stuff. And it's just very over the top 60s type of acting. Omar Sharif as her love interest, which he is like super uber famous and like a very sought after Hollywood leading man for a very long time, and you know, heartthrob, I guess you can say. And so I'm sure that this pairing was like a big deal at the time, but like I said, I just couldn't find that many details about this movie or the making of this movie. So I will say that Sophia Loren in this movie is very entertaining. Even if the movie is not like the best movie ever made, she is very entertaining in it, and there's certain parts that are supposed to be kind of funny. And you know, I was surprised because I really don't know that many Sophia Loren movies. I just really haven't watched that many of her movies, but I was actually pleasantly surprised with her personality in the movie, how it really plays up the short-tempered, you know, feisty woman that, you know, yells back and stands up for what she believes in. Ended up using this little flat Morphe brush and using the chocolate brown shade from this Violet Voss palette to just make my eyebrows look brown because they were looking a little gray. The Natasha Denona palette in Ayana. Some of these shades will work for the kind of smoky eye look that we're going for. If you're not taking the movie too seriously, it is a fun watch. Sophia Loren's character and Omar Sharif's character really do have decent chemistry, and so it is kind of nice to watch them play off of each other. What I do is highlight my brow bone with this highlighter from Pretty Vulgar, and we're just gonna go ahead and move on. Contour. I can sit here and play with the eye makeup all day long, but we don't have that kind of time. She's 86 years old now, and as of 2020, she was still working. The movie that came out in 2020 that she starred in is called The Life Ahead, and it is on Netflix now. I'm gonna try this blush stick from Trustique, and hopefully it's just sheer enough to just give me a little bit of color, but nothing too crazy. I outline my lips with this Saint Luxe lip liner in Love Letter. She has very defined lips. I'm gonna just try to lightly line them just to give the illusion, but if it comes out too dark, I'm gonna be so annoyed, but whatever. Okay. I almost forgot. I need eyeliner, lashes, the whole nine. I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty liner. Something new that I got in my BoxyCharm. It is the Dragon Lash Tubing Mascara from Queen. Now, I think I know who this is. This, if I'm not mistaken, is, and I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong, but Queen Herbie. So I'm using the trusty Ardell Faux Mink. The number on the package is 811. This KAB oil, also got it from my BoxyCharm. Alright, let's just move on to the hair. I'm just gonna use my flat iron. This just happens to be a Paul Mitchell one. As close to a middle part as we can. In this movie, she's supposed to be, you know, disheveled, I guess is the word, right? She's supposed to not be polished and put together. She's supposed to be the opposite of put together and polished, right? But she's still gorgeous and wonderful and beautiful. Just gonna grab random sections. I'm clamping down, turning and pulling just at the root, because when I go and tease some of this, I really want it to stand up, because she has a lot of height right here in the crown and it's very flat in the front. So I want to really make that pop. Her hair looks fairly oily on the ends, so I'm gonna go add some oil to my ends. I'm gonna fix the hair just a little bit more. I'm gonna put on the outfit and I'll be right back. And this is the final look, ladies and gentlemen. All in all, I think it went really well. It's always the looks that I think are going to be the easiest that end up being the hardest ones. And the ones that I think, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to do this, they magically come together. So you just never know. You got to just go for it and see what happens. But I appreciate you watching. See you next week for another Recreate This Look. Thanks again.